child. Things are gonna get easy. Alright. I'm not gonna. Well, I might leave that in. Welcome to another video. Nanashi's Content Corner. Corner of content. What's good, y'all? What's up? We back. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed my previous videos. And I'm here to. It'll be another question today. But before I get into that, I want to pretty much update you all on this channel and some of the information with this channel. So I'll be posting on Fridays. Fridays will be my post days. And it'll vary. Like I might post one video, I might post 3. It depends on what I'm feeling, and how much I've recorded. So yeah, just be prepared for that. But anyway, yeah, so Fridays I'll be posting on my YouTube channel. It'll be when you search it, at Nanashi Sama, and then it'll pull up. You can recognize it. I don't plan on changing my picture for a while, so it'll be a black Choso from Jujutsu Kaisen. He'll be black and have locks. That's me. So subscribe and hit that notification bell, and every Friday you'll be hip to some new content, y'all. Questions. I did a Naruto versus Bleach gauntlet. I'll be doing some unboxings for some of these figures behind me, and yeah, just a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm liking the vibe of recording, and editing is fun. It's kind of basics. Y'all have seen the edits and whatnot and the little memes when I say some stupid shit, but yeah, it's been fun. I'm liking it so far. I'm a baby. I'm fresh, brand new, to this. So, but it is fire. I am enjoying myself, and I hope you all are liking it too. So subscribe and everything. And at the end of every video, I have my other ads for you to go check out. So yeah, I'll be posting every Friday. I'm excited. My first official attempt at YouTube and legit content, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, disregarding all that, I have a question for today. And the question at hand it's fun. It's a fun one. We're all gonna have different opinions about this one, but the question at hand is, out of the 4 TMNT, out of the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which turtle wins in an all-out battle between them? I love shit like this. First off, we're gonna shout out Master Splinter for even showing them the way of ninjutsu and whatnot, and honing their skills. He himself is crazy work. Put them hands on you, or paws, I guess, since he's a rat. But yeah, I love this question. I came across this question just scrolling through Instagram, and there's a lot of variables with this question. We all probably know that Mikey, and there's a certain comic called The Last Ronin. Mikey dons his brother's weapons after they pass away, and he becomes hardcore, or Last Ronin, pretty much. It's a very dark end of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in general, but that's a very commonly known um, story is how Mikey dons his brother's weapons and becomes this, savage, Um, but to take it back, I'm gonna go down each one and I'm gonna give, my winner at the end. So first, we'll start off with Leo. Now, Leo is typically always, the leader. He's always the upfront, go-to leader of the crew. Usually appointed by Master Splinter. Uh, but there are, times where he takes on the mantle just because he knows his brothers need that sort of leadership. Leo is out of all the turtles, they sort of represent something. Leo is the balanced of the four. The super balanced. He has two katanas, showing his balance of very strong-willed weapons. If that makes sense. Like very, he dons weapons that are super powerful, and they showcase a skill set that is strong, forceful, but calm and, in a sense, elegant. In a sense, um, the symmetry and all that. He's a very balanced turtle. He's the most balanced of the four, which makes him typically the leader all the time. If you've seen I believe what year was that? Was that '07 Turtles? The movie? I'm gonna do a fact check real quick. I'm gonna do a fact check. That movie was fire, by the way. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna have it up here. Y'all know, if you know, you know. Boom, I was right. '07. The '07 animated TMNT movie that we all wanted more of. It showcased Leo and Raph's dynamic very potently, and it was very, very well done. They had their disputes. They fought. Leo, he sort of hesitated, and Raph ended up winning. That movie goes to show a very well put together dispute between Leo and his brother Raph. Like physical dispute. Like they was actually they was on the roof. They was going at it. Essentially, in my eyes, Leo would have won if hesitation didn't come into play. He's proven time and time again why he's the leader. Leo took a sabbatical. He kind of took longer than he needed, and he kind of left his brothers hanging. And Raph got really emotional about that, and was like, "I took matters into my own hands, became a vigilante. I was delivering justice the way I see fit." And Leo was like, "Bro, you're just dressing up as this dark and brooding figure, and you're not really helping." I know their ages vary between certain medias. I think the older stuff, Raph was the oldest, then Leo, then Donnie, and Mikey typically is always the youngest because of his immaturity. I think the newer stuff, they're pretty much damn near the same ages. But yeah, Leo, he's someone that is very solid in who he is. He has had very soul turning moments because of him finding the strength to be a leader, methods to direct his brothers and bring them together, and all of that. Just sums up to him being that focal point of balance for them. But we're gonna go to Raph now, who is the hothead of the group. He is very much known for his anger issues, charging in before a plan is set up. He's very like, I'm finna do this with or without. He's very direct like that. He dons the red bandana, and his two weapons are two sais, which is a very unique weapon of choice, because Raph could be killing motherfuckers, but he has that weapon, and it shows how much restraint he pretty much holds, because he's usually bonking people with the ends of the size rather than gutting. So, but yeah, his weapon are the two sais. He's always angry. He's always the one letting out his feelings in a very typically negative, but sometimes just brute way. But he got them hands. Like, out of the four, I would say, like, raw power, he holds the mantle. He's, I know in the newer Rise of the Turtles, I know he's like the bigger one, which I love that series for. I haven't finished it or anything, but the fact that they're different species of turtle, that's a really good dynamic to hold for just that franchise. Like, that's really cool. And he's big and brawny in that one, so I believe he's like a snapping turtle, alligator snapping turtle. I think that's his breed in the new stuff. But regardless of that, he is typically the more strong, powerful one physically. He's the brute force of the brothers, and he takes charge even when it's not even it's not even needed. Like, it's like, hey, we have a plan. Bulldoze through the plan straight into the enemy territory. It's like, sir, let's be a little stealthy here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Raph is just, he's about that action. He's that kind of person, or turtle. And we have Donnie, who is the brains of the crew. Donnie is literally the tech guy. He gets them all the information they need, reconnaissance, intel. He's the brains of the crew, and rightfully so, because his intelligence beats the four. His specialty is thinking, planning, contingencies, all of that kind of stuff is Donnie's forte. So when it comes to outsmarting enemies or whatnot, Donnie's gonna lend a very heavy helping hand, which is always gonna be necessary, because you never know who you're gonna face dealing with them. Like, if mutagen get on somebody, it's like, bro, you could become, like, no one even knows what you could become. Like, it's so random. The damn 2012 Nickelodeon TMNT motherfuckers was turning into fish and tigers and shit, and I'm like, bro, like, I don't want no smoke. I got the skills, but damn, bro, like, really? Shit's crazy. Their homie, damn, I forgot his name. But the crocodile with the alligator, that motherfucker was a beast. That motherfucker was a beast. Anyway, yeah, he's just the smart guy, He's very skilled with the bow staff. And the bow staff given to him, it's cool because it's such a traditional weapon, you know what I mean? And for him, it's like almost ironic. He got such a traditional weapon while being so up to date with like tech and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a very interesting dynamic. But Donnie's dope. You know, he got the purple going on. You know, some he got some iterations. He wears glasses to make him a little more dorkier, and some he just wears the purple. But at all times, he's gonna be a dork. He's gonna be a nerd, and that's real dope about him. You know, he stays who he is. I'm actually not sure if the Donnie April thing is like common throughout the franchise or if it was just like the 2012 one or whatnot. I'd have to look into that. But I do know, there was a point in the series where he liked April, and then April, of course, was all over Casey. Like, all right, I do fuck with Casey. He got his ass beat a lot, but the mask and the hockey stick and the whole golf club, I'm like, bro, you beating niggas ass with golf clubs, bro? You need jail time, nigga. Oh my god. But back to the turtles. We got Mikey, typically always the youngest, or if not, strictly the youngest, he's usually always the most immature, the jokester. He has the yellow or orange, uh, bandana for him. That's his color. He is deemed the turtle with the most potential, which hints the Last Ronin reference from the beginning makes sense because he learns his brother's weapons and how to use them damn near better than they did when he becomes the Last Ronin. You know what I mean? So he has the nunchaku. He has those as his weapon, which are Splinter gave those to him because of his broad potential and how hard nunchucks are to wield and become an expert in. He gave it to Mikey because it would be essentially something grounding to learn something so complex while being the most like goofy turtle. You know what I mean? So the dynamic of his weapon and his personality, it coincides. Each one of them is of course coinciding with their personality, and the strengths of why they have them. But Mikey is, like I said, he's usually the one with the most potential. A lot of people would deem him sort of the winner of this question because it's said that he has the most potential. And the thing about Mikey, he gonna make him a joke. He gonna make you laugh. Even if it's something serious, he gonna try and put a little jokey joke in there to lighten the mood because that's who he is. He is the young, immature, joking, pizza loving. Although all of them love pizza, Mikey he's the party dude. I love that he skateboards. It fits him so well. It makes why he's so loose when he fights. It makes it more believable because as a skateboarder, you're pretty like loose. You gotta bend when you're going fast. You gotta be on your toes and watch out for all kinds of obstacles. And he's always observant. But because of his personality, it's like, are you paying attention, sir? You know what I mean? Like, but he is like, he retains information while he's being a damn klutz. He's still learning. And then the other brothers are like, did you hear anything that we just said? And he's like, actually, you said this, you said that, you said that. All while he was joking through the whole lesson. He's very dope. Mikey's my second favorite out of the turtles. Leo, like I said, was my first. I'm going with this like unbiased. Now, if it's like some Bleach talk, I'm biased as hell. I'll still try and put some logic in there, but it be biased when it comes to Bleach in like that anime verse. But these are the turtles. I'm equally like going down the line for who I think would actually win. Just based off all the media that I've seen for the turtles and the games. Video games are fire for them. But I'm gonna go. Last two standing would be Leo and Raph, because Donnie would not keep up combatively, and Mikey would not be serious enough to take them out. So I would say those two probably aren't lasting as long as Leo and Raph in this battle. Now I will say Donnie could probably last a little longer than Mikey, because Donnie has, he like I said, he's the brains of the crew. Like, he kind of knows them hella well enough to like at least know how to tip them into one scale of losing rather than them winning. But I don't think it'll be enough because of Raph's sheer power and combative ability, and Leo's balance and knowledge of his brothers. As him being the leader, he knows how to handle them. He's had his hiccups with them, but for the most part, he knows how to handle his brothers. And with Raph and Leo in a legit fight, I see Raph winning closely. Like, I feel like he could get there if he was a little less hot-headed. But I see Raph's anger getting in the way of him winning. So for me, I do think Leo would. I think he would win in a 1v1v1v1. I see Raph's power actually handling Donnie versus handling Leo. And yeah, now with Mikey, I do think he could slip and slide through some hits from Raph. Just because of how wonky Mikey is. Crazy word, I know. Probably not the right word to use, I guess. But he is kind of wonky. But I can see Mikey like sort of dodging around all of that. But ultimately, I don't think he would last enough to win the bout. So I'm going Leo as the winner. I think Leo's skill set would just come out on top of power of Raph. Donnie, I think Leo's skill set and his knowledge would come out over Donnie's intellect and combative skill. Like, Donnie, of course, wins the intellect battle, but Leo is so well put together, as he's like more well put together, as a turtle than Donnie. He's leaning more into the intellect versus the combat. So I'd give that to Leo. And Mikey being a goofball, but having that potential to become something. And Leo's gonna take advantage of that. His skill set is just it's gonna be too wicked for Mikey to be goofing around the whole time. When Leo gets serious and Mikey, he goofing off, Mikey gonna be like, oh, this is for real. And by that time, it's gonna be too late. So I give it to Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo. Yeah, that's my choice. Bye.